Have you ever wondered how dealers and investors like me make money buying and selling antiques, vintage and collectibles? If you want to learn my secret technique and find out what distinguishes professionals from amateurs, make sure you watch to the end of this video. Welcome back to Antique Central. My name's Mark and I've been successfully buying and selling antiques, vintage and collectibles for quite a few years now. So I thought it was about time I shared my 5 golden rules I adhere to when I'm buying a piece for investment or to resell. No time wasting, no waffle, let's get straight to it. First up, let's talk quality. Whether it be furniture, artwork, ceramics or glass, it makes no difference. Golden rule number 1. Always invest in the best quality you can afford. When I initially evaluate an item, I always pay close attention to a variety of factors, including the artistry and design, the manufacturing skills and craftsmanship, and the type of materials used. For example, it's a pretty good sign of quality in antique furniture if expensive hardwoods have been used rather than cheap softwoods. The carpentry joints are dovetailed and the original finishes are in good repair. However, for every niche in the antiques trade, there are a multitude of signposts directing you to that all-important measure of quality. From ceramics, metalware and furniture to glassware, jewellery and works of art. Always take a big step back and do your best to take in the overall quality of the item. If it looks cheap and feels cheap, then the chances are it is cheap. But be warned, a visual inspection is never the whole story and does not take into account the history or cultural and social importance of the object. So don't always judge a book by its cover. There's more to it than that. And we'll talk about research later. So the variables in determining quality are many, but your first impression followed by a careful inspection of the item are nevertheless priceless, cost you nothing, and are always the first indication of quality, which invariably translates into value. And always remember Rule 101 in buying for investment or reselling. High quality pieces stand a much better chance of surviving the test of time and therefore increasing in price. So always buy quality regardless of what it is. Next, my golden rule number 2. Scarcity almost always plays a significant role in an item's current value and potential increase in future value. Items that are rare or even unique tend to fetch higher prices in the market, as there will always be a higher demand for those items than there is supply. But be aware that when a scarce or rare item comes up for auction, particularly in an auction house that has internet bidding, then the competition between buyers to purchase the item will inevitably push up the price. So set your maximum bid you are prepared to go up to and stick with it. Don't get tempted to make that extra bid which takes you from a potential profit to a guaranteed loss on the day. Overpaying will mean a much longer wait to cash in on any future profit if you are chasing a loss brought on by paying too much for the item in the first place. But more about that later. In certain situations, I always pull out of bidding if I realise I am up against a collector rather than fellow dealers, who at the end of the day all want to retain a profit margin on the purchase price. As collectors will invariably pay whatever it takes to win the item for their collection, and therefore make it unviable as a purchase for a short or even medium-term profit. Having said all that, a scarce or rare collectible item is always top of my acquisitions list. So keep your eyes open for limited editions, discontinued items, or pieces with significant historical significance. Just don't overpay for them. Golden rule number 3 goes without saying. Price is always a crucial consideration when making a purchase for investment or resale. While sentimental value is important, and by that I mean buying with your heart rather than your head, it's always essential to assess in advance the current market value of an item. You can then make an informed estimate of potential future value over time. Do you want to turn over the item quickly, or will it be displayed as a prized possession or stored away as an investment for the future? Only you know the answer to that question, but it must form part of your decision-making process. Taking advice from a more experienced or knowledgeable dealer would be my guidance, particularly if you are expecting to pay out a lot of your hard-earned money. Once again, in advance of the purchase, we come back to research, including checking recent online and auction house sales and consulting experts in advance of making your purchase to determine a fair current market value. And don't forget, If you buy at auction, you must take into account paying the lot fee and buyer's premium in addition to the hammer price should you win the bid. Depending on the auction house you use, these charges can vary from 10% at a local pop-up auction to in excess of 25% at established auction houses with large overheads. Of course, if you make a private purchase from a member of the public or at an antique shop or market, then there won't be any additional fees to pay. So what you pay is what you get. Making an ethical point here, if I am buying from a member of the public with little or no antiques knowledge, I always pay the market price minus the profit I need to make. In my case, a minimum of 30% after the purchase price and overheads are taken into account. It's just being fair. Getting a bad reputation as a dealer who rips off the uninformed will not do your career or business any good. So don't get caught like a rabbit in the headlights of making a quick profit when you shake hands on a deal with a member of the public. Of course, if you are buying from a dealer, then in my humble opinion, all's fair in love, war and business. So haggle away and get the best deal you possibly can. It's all part of the hustle and bustle of the antiques game. As long as you respect the dealer and don't make silly, low-ball offers. In my book, golden rule number 4 is a no-brainer. Authenticity is always non-negotiable. Whatever you do, always make sure you verify the authenticity of an item before making your purchase. Ask for, or at the very least, look for provenance documentation, maker's marks, or seek expert opinions to confirm the item's legitimacy as a genuine antique. If you are at a reputable auction house, then speak to the auctioneer and ask them for any background information they have on the item. You can always ask where the item came from and also inquire about its history or provenance. But I find nowadays that with the UK data protection laws to protect the privacy of customers, the auction house can't always provide you with any detailed information other than their assessment of the item's originality and authenticity. In other words, confirm whether it's a genuine piece in their opinion that you are bidding on and not a fake or a reproduction. On the subject of fakes and reproductions, there is an important difference between the two, and one that you need to be clear on. A fake is an item deliberately produced to deceive a buyer into thinking it is a genuine and original item from the historical period it is claimed it was manufactured in. In other words, a fake is designed to illegally con a buyer into believing they have purchased an authentic item. In the UK, there have been recent court cases where, albeit highly talented craftsmen producing fakes, have been imprisoned for lengthy spells. Ironically, some of these authenticated fakes, particularly in the art world, are gaining in value if the forger has gained notoriety or fame. However, buyer beware when you make a purchase, and if you are buying from an auction house, then check whether you are buying sold as seen or if you have the right to return the item if you subsequently discover it is a fake. On the other hand, reproductions are legitimate pieces which should be marked up accordingly with a maker's mark confirming they are a reproduction. In my opinion, reproductions only become problematic if they are sold as original and authentic antiques to deliberately deceive unsuspecting buyers. At the risk of repeating myself, buyer beware when making any purchase. Lastly, and my most important golden rule before making a purchase for investment or profit is research, research, research. It should be the foundation of every acquisition you make, whether the purchase is made privately, shop, auction house, or market. So, always take the time to educate yourself about the item you are considering investing in, including past and present market trends before parting with your cash. With Google, it only takes a few seconds to carry out your research, but always double check supposed facts and, if possible, source a second opinion with a trusted colleague or expert. You can always return the favour at a later date. The advantage of buying at a reputable auction house is you will always have the time during viewing to carry out your research and set the upper limit of your bid based on your findings. Most established auction houses will publish photos and descriptions of the lots in the sale well in advance of the auction, thus giving you ample time to delve into the history and provenance of any item that catches your eye. But one thing is for sure, Every other dealer on the planet will be doing their own pre-auction research. So be prepared to battle it out if you really want the item. But don't go above or beyond your financial limit, whatever you do. If you are buying at a market, you can always walk away from the stall and compare sold listings on comparable items by checking the sold listings on any one of a number of well-known online auction sites. But always check the sold listings. Don't make the mistake of basing your valuation on active listings, as sellers can ask whatever they want, but it doesn't mean they are going to achieve it. An important word of warning if you are buying at a market: don't stand in front of the dealer's table Googling on your phone. It's bad etiquette and you may well be told to politely go away. So to avoid winding up the dealer, discretion is always the better part of valor in that situation. The same can be said of buying in a shop. Always glean as much information as you can from the dealer selling the item and give yourself time to privately carry out your own research, so avoiding making an expensive impulse buy that will bite you in the proverbial pocket and wipe out any future profit. So the bottom line is, in my opinion anyway, always get yourself informed about the current demand and prices to make informed and sensible investment decisions. By following my 5 criteria for investments, including quality, rarity, price, authenticity and research, you stand a good chance of safely steering yourself through the mazy, crazy world of antiques, vintage and collectibles investing, perhaps with a little bit more confidence than maybe you would have had. I hope my tips help. Finally, any one of my purchasing criteria merits a video of their own. If you have made it this far in the video and would like me to expand on any of my investment advice, leave a comment starting with the word criteria with your choice of topic, and I'll do my best to come up with a separate, more detailed video. So that's it, and wherever you are in the world, happy investing, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.